Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video where today we return with round 4 of LCR. This time around we're here back at Circuit Spa-Francorchamps for the Belgian Grand Prix. Unfortunately no highlights from last week. I was busy competing in the Daytona 24. I'm hoping I'm going to be able to get a highlight video from that up over the coming week or so, so make sure you get yourself subscribed to the channel if you want to see that. But again, apologies, I'm still trying to fix my computers at the moment, so unfortunately there's no live com this week. I am slowly but surely getting there. I'm hoping content will be resuming as normal pretty much from now on, so a massive apologies, and thank you to all of you as well for sticking around. Currently in the background then is going to be my fast lap here from qualifying around the Circuit Spa, of course. Absolutely love coming back to this venue. The 7 kilometres are winding around the Ardennes Forest, and my absolute favourite in the world of Formula 1. However, to be honest, this week I wasn't feeling particularly confident. Of course, we all know the key on F122 is incredibly low downforce, and yeah, it's safe to say incredibly low downforce doesn't suit me very well. So as we head around this circuit, really are going to be trying to hang on, not only in qualifying, but also actually as we get into the race. Everyone really was struggling for grip this weekend. There as we head down the hill in towards Sector 2. Currently we're down in P12 of, I think, 15 cars there. Big old slide as we head down through in towards No Name. Now I think that probably cost us 3/4 tenths of a second as we now head down in towards Pouhon on this final run there. That was a massive slide. To be honest, I was quite impressed actually that I was able to hang on to that one and keep the car pointing in the right direction there as we head down through the Fagnes chicane though in the second half of this lap. We're still finding a lot of time though over my previous run. 8 tenths clear at the moment. We were a little way off the rest of the field's pace at the end of our first run. Unfortunately, the 4 cars behind us haven't actually done any lap times yet. There goes Jack finding a barrier as we head up out of Stavelot, but in towards the final couple of corners then of the lap. Of course, we've just got Blanchemont and the tricky bus stop chicane to try and navigate there. 9.5 tenths up though as we head in towards these final couple of corners, so we could try and elevate ourselves a bit further up the order here as we just try and make sure that we take the curb nice and tidy out of that final turn, which we're going to do there. And 1.1 seconds up then as we cross the line. That's good enough to slot us straight up into P9 then of this session. Unfortunately, luckily our teammate Ben was able to improve there. But yes, say I'd not made that mistake, we could have been close to Mafio and crowding door there at the end of qualifying. So definitely feel like we've got some decent pace as we get into the race there. Sauber on the pole on a 1:42.4. That is a monstrous lap time around this circuit ahead of Maris and Mel there. Connor in 4th ahead of Jack. Ben, like I said, in 5th ahead of Dor, Mafio, Dan, myself there with Liam, Violet, Apex, Rock Morrow and Jack rounding out the grid. And of course we all know Spa, it's a one-stop strategy. We're going to be gambling it on the hard compound tyres early on, so grip is going to be very low as we try and build some temperature into the tyres early on in this GP. I did look to see how much slower a 2-stop would be. I reckon it was about 5 seconds slower, is out of interest, but there was a small part of me that was tempted to go with that. But we are going to stick on the one-stop strategy then. Looks like Mel has actually been disqualified from the formation lap there. Not too sure how he's managed that, but absolutely perfect on the lineup then, ready for the Belgian Grand Prix. And it is about to be 5 lights then on the grid. Got to try and make sure we get a nice clean tidy start. Looks like basically everyone but Liam behind me is starting on the hard compound tyres. 5 red lights. And it is going to be lights out, and away we go then for the Belgian Grand Prix there, making sure we try and get a nice, clean, tidy start with a lot of wheel spin in 3rd gear there, as crowding door is just going to completely swing across the Aston Martin and Mafio in towards turn 1. Not too sure how they've managed that one. We've got to make sure we give the Aston Martin some room on the exit turn 1, and Joseph's gone from the back of the grid up to P9 there off the start. A mega launch for him in that Ferrari car there. He unfortunately had a qualifying ban for something he did at the Canadian Grand Prix last weekend, but how on earth he's managed that off the start, I will never quite know. As we head up the Camel Straight though on lap 1, we've got LCR Violet tucked up into the slipstream there, going to try and force him. If he wants to go anywhere, he's going to have to try and go down the outside in towards the chicane at the top of the hill there, and luckily won't be too brave on the brakes on lap 1. And like I said, of course, lap 1 in this Grand Prix is all about just trying to build up some confidence and some temperatures into the tyres and the car there as we head down the hill. You can see very close there as the Aston Martin going to try and look up the inside of Joe through the next couple of corners there. That's going to put them both offline, and potentially we're going to be able to get a good run off down the hill there, but absolutely not this time round. And this was the theme throughout the entirety of the Grand Prix. I know a few other drivers mentioned it as well, but the track felt ice cold. I actually checked as well early on to make sure I hadn't had the tyre temperature blitz. The tyres were apparently up to temperature here, but there was just no grip on this Belgian Grand Prix circuit. Of course, that's a combination of lack of confidence in the car and, of course, the lack of downforce as well that makes you quick around this circuit. So it was going to be an evening trying to hang on there, as that might be the most ridiculous warning I've ever got on this Grand Prix. It looks like Liam on those mediums has already binned it as well there. The exit of Fagnes, the exit Stavelo even, was a very, very difficult corner for a lot of people to try and navigate throughout the entirety of the evening there. But Violet now going to try and look around the outside in towards the bus stop chicane there. Joseph and Dynamo Dan actually are going to have some contact at the road there, and that's going to allow Maffio to sneak back around the outside of the Ferrari there. But Maris up into the lead of the Grand Prix then at the end of lap 1. Sora, I think, still in hot pursuit ahead of Mel, as Maffio again not quite going to be able to hit the apex through turn 1 there. Joseph's going to have to try and give him some room on the exit of the corner, but I think our goal was just trying to stick nice and close to these guys. I think Violet has binned it behind us as well there on the exit of the corner. Rock Morrow now out of the session very, very early on in the day. That looks like he's binned it out of the Fagnes chicane, and that's then going to bring out a virtual safety car, which of course 1 lap later would head back away. So we've just got, like I said, try and stick close to Maffio and Joseph here. Looks like Crowning Door as well is on a bit of a fight back from the rear of the field. We're trying to get temperature back into the sides then as we plummet down the hill. But honestly, the place I really noticed we were losing the most time around this lap, and this is the thing I've still really got to learn on F1 22, is the traction. I was losing so much to the cars in front and the cars behind in those traction zones every single time. You can see Maffio about a second away as we head in towards turn 1. We take a couple of tenths out of him, and then it just goes back up again. Crowding Door behind us is gaining times on corner exit, and I just don't know how he's able to manage it though. I don't actually know what wings he was on, but they must have been very, very low. As you can see now, he's going to be able to get a monstrous run as we head out onto the Camel Straight there. We've lost the DRS to the Aston Martin and the Ferrari in front of us, so I'm not even going to really try and fight him in this situation, and maybe just hope that he can try and drag us up towards those cars in front. But it was just such a big issue for me all weekend long. Of course, it came back to the lack of downforce and the lack of tyre temperatures that we just couldn't match anyone, and we just have zero confidence in the car around this lap. As we start lap 6 then of this Grand Prix, you can see Crowding Door there 9 tenths up, and then as we head out of turn 1, look, it's just 2-3 tenths immediately that we've lost there. You can see we're trying to use the battery to get back within the range. It honestly looked to me like we had done there. I think we were just been 1,000th away there, and again we're not going to get the DRS on another car. We can see a big battle now going on in front there. Crowding Door just nicks the inside curbing there, and that unfortunately means I just run wide, a little bit hesitant about where he was going to go. There was a part of me that thought he'd spin towards the inside of the circuit, but we will make it back up then into the points in this Grand Prix, and that was the other big thing that I was really sort of considering this afternoon, was just making sure that we were in a position to potentially score points come the end of the race there, as Maris, I think, has been involved in an incident there with someone else. Connor's now spun out of the final corner as well, so suddenly we're into the lofty heights of P8 in this Grand Prix, as I think that's going to be Maris, out of the GP there. Left the session rather than retired and then left, so it might be a penalty coming his way as well. But yeah, I mean, it's just those little freebies that we've got to try and claim over the course of the afternoon. Like I said, there was quite low attendance this week. You know, a couple of the drivers towards the front as well were struggling, so if we could try and snooker away our first points of the year, I'd probably be quite happy with that, never mind the fact of whether we've got the pace or not. So here comes Crowding Door back around the outside this time again then. Did try to put up a bit more of a fight there, of course, because we had the DRS, but still not really worth it there. He's going to completely misshoot his braking point there. Have to be a little bit careful about where he's going to re-emerge. We're not going to back out of this one just yet then. There's a little bit of contact on the exit of the corner as we head back down the hill. Can have the inside, though, as we head in towards, I think that's... No, I can't remember. It begins with an M, I feel like, down there. As we head now 1 lap later on, you can see we've got Crowding Door and Connor now, 2 very, very quick drivers all over my gearbox as we're trying to head down the hill in through No Name once again there. And this time round, we just nick the outside curb on the exit of the corner there. That's going to give us a big slide there, and had to slam the brakes trying to avoid the wall on the exit of the corner there, and that is really, really frustrating there. Big mistake to make quite early on still in the GP, but we've got 14 more laps of racing action. There is still plenty of opportunities for more carnage and chaos to continue to kick off here. As we come towards the end of lap 10 now, we're really getting into the pit stop window in this Grand Prix. So first one is, of course, is Liam from those hard compound tyres. So we might be able to get close to him still by the end of the day. He wasn't far ahead of me. And of course, we're going to have fresher, quicker tyres right the way through to the end of the GP there. You can see 1 lap later, Connor and Violet then both peeling into the pits. And unfortunately, I wanted to pit at the end of lap 12 though. Unfortunately, yeah, my teammate Ben was doing a mega run there, still fighting up for big points this afternoon, so he obviously got priority about when to pit there, so we are going to have to stay out once more, and you can see now we're going to move up into the lofty heights, so we're going to be battling with Ben and Matthew as they head out of the pit lane. Of course, we've still got a stop to make, but they are going to have cold tyres as we head out of the pits there, and that's just up into P5 then of this Grand Prix. We might be able to get a run on the Aston Martin as well there. Of course, he's going to have to be very careful up through a Rouge and Rally on then, obviously on those cold tyres, and now you can see tucked up in the wheel tracks of the Aston Martin. If we can do our teammate a little bit of a favour here, we're certainly going to try and give him a hand if we can. There's, you can see, right around the outside of Matthew then, as we head down the Kemmel straight there, through goes Matt. Still doesn't quite have the same ring as Sebastian Vettel there, but we're now up into P4 of the GP there. You see, Sauber has already picked 15 seconds clear, and I think it was Jack Star and Mel that have stayed out at this stage of the afternoon. You can see as we come towards the end of 13 though, tyres really starting to go off there, and a couple of big wobbles as we head through Fagnes. You can see, unfortunately for Matthew, I wasn't actually trying to go defensive to block him, I was trying to go defensive just in case I broke earlier than he was planning to there, to make sure I didn't give him front wing damage, so I'm going to hold up my hands and admit, you know, I was trying to help my teammate as well, sensibly. But Matthew, if you're watching this, I wasn't actually trying to hold you up too much, mate, so I do apologise that I was very much getting in the way by this point of the circuit there. And you can see heading down in towards the final chicane. Fortunately, running very deep as well there. Very lucky that we could cross over and get into the pit lane there. As you can see, Matthew is going to re-emerge there still a little way up the road. Unfortunately, Ben's actually picked up a 3-second time penalty, so it is going to make his afternoon a lot more difficult to try and claim that place if that's what he was going to do. But where are we going to re-emerge then in this Grand Prix? It might be down in P10. I think Violet had even more issues in this Grand Prix there as we put on that set of the medium compound tyres to see us through to the flag. 2.3 seconds back as Violet's actually set a new fastest lap of the day. So we are going to be very close as we head out of the pit lane here, and are we going to be able to try and put up much of a fight? Like I said, this is for the final points paying position, so there is still definitely a lot to play for late on in the day between myself and the Williams driver there as we head up through Rouge and Rally on. Have to be careful on the tyres, but unfortunately, yeah, we'd have another car retire from the GP, so that's now promoted us up into P9 then of this Grand Prix. As you can see now, Violet going to be able to get down around the outside there. I think I was running like 6-8 wings or something like that, which I thought was going to be ridiculously low around this circuit. Unfortunately, we were still losing a lot of time to the cars around us there, so we're just going to try and stick with Violet towards the end of this Grand Prix there, so we can try and get him back before the end of the race. We can see lap 17 now. Clouds starting to come in a little bit. There might be a small chance of rain by the end of this GP there, but unfortunately any hope I'd have about trying to stay ahead of Violet, all gone in an instant there as we just again run a tiny bit wide there, and that would take us right through to the final lap of the Grand Prix. Looks like Mel on the aggressive strategy there. He's going to get the jump on Sauber come the checkered flag there, which brings the gap back down in the championship battle. I think they both won 2 races apiece or something like that at the start of the season there. Sauber will come through for P2. I think it is Jackstar in P3 ahead of Matthew and our teammate Ben there. A fantastic job to come through in P5. But are we going to be able to get a run on Violet as we head up in towards the final couple of corners here? Really trying to use the battery, time the run as best as possible as we head up in towards the final couple of corners of the Belgian Grand Prix. We're going to try and look to the inside there. You can see he's saving battery, but just about going to be able to brake later than us in towards the final corner. We're not going to be able to get the run off the turn. Like I said, it didn't really matter either way there, and that is going to be P10 come the checkered flag. Don't quite know how we've ended up with a pile-up after the finish line there, but it is my first point of the year then here in LCR. Like I said, Mel takes the win with fastest lap as well ahead of Sauber. Jackster ahead of Matthew there. Our teammate Ben makes it a double Alfa Romeo points all come the checkered flag there. But yeah, just behind us down Apex Jack there with Maris, and I think it was, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, Rock Morrow, sorry, wasn't it, as well as Liam, all not making it through to the checkered flag. But thank you all so much for watching this video nonetheless. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed. I'm really hoping content comes back to normal very soon. But yeah, that's going to do us here from Belgium.